watching Hourglass Media, and this is Hourglass. I'm Allan Heath.
I'm Carrie Heath.
I'm Spencer Vogel.
Today we're going to talk about music, and in particular, In particular, we're going to talk about autotune in music, and what we think of that, the value or the detriment that it is to music. So,
Well, I will say that when it first came out, like the first time I heard it, I was like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
That's rad. And then all of a sudden it's in every song, and I got tired of it. I think it's a little bit of a blind or a cover for people who have imperfect pitch, who can't really sing. I feel like it's a crutch that they use. And I feel like it's found its true purpose in all of the auto-tune like redos of YouTube videos. That is
where
funny.
it's someone talking and saying funny stuff,
Yes,
and they
like,
auto-tune it to make a song
like
out of it.
Kind of ain't nobody got time for that. All of
Yeah.
that stuff that like that is
That
funny,
is actually
and that's
awesome.
where it's
Yeah.
hilarious. Or
Yeah.
the double rainbow dude when they, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, as a musician, I'm a guitar player. I feel like it's like most effects when you're talking about music in general, particularly guitar player, because guitar players use a lot of effects. It's like any other effect where in certain quantities it can be very cool. When it's used in the right place, in the right amount, it can really add something to the music. It can do something cool for it. But when you just slap a bunch of effects on there to make it sound interesting or to cover up for the fact that you're a shitty guitar player, like that's a bad use of it. And
Are you listening, Edge from U2?
Talking to you, buddy. Talking to you. But I mean, because that really is it. Like, Alice Cooper used it in his newest album.
Yes,
and,
he did.
and I feel like he used it correctly, where it's in there to do something interesting. It's not in there to cover up for something.
Yeah. It's used sparingly, like, a
Exactly.
little salad dressing, not the lettuce.
Yeah,
in
it
your
adds some
salad.
flavor to it. It's not trying to cover up for the fact that you're eating a salad. Like,
Well, it's a bad analogy for me
terrible
because I porridge on a ranch.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, what's your take on it?
It's complex. Okay, like it's
You simpletons
what?
are not.
No.
approaching straight.
It's the issue is complex, is what I'm saying.
It is, okay.
Like, it's an effect, and so I actually approve of using it belligerently more than I approve of using it small.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm surprised at that.
You know why I don't like when they use it just a little bit is because it means you can't sing. And they're trying to cover it up when it would be better if they just did
you're
a better
talking about
performance.
not necessarily like not using it for the whole song, but the like if you're dialing it in at here's 30% auto-tune or 100% auto-tune, you're like, if you're going to use it, don't 30% auto-tune it because that's covering up. 100% auto-tune
Because
it
then
because
it's
then it's an effect.
and it's obvious that
Yes.
you're using auto-tune. It's not like it's more explicit that
Right.
way. Whereas
Because
when
when
you use it a little,
I refer to using it a lot, I'm not talking about the amount of auto-tune that you put on the voice.
Oh,
I'm talking about like
frequency?
you auto-tune the entire song.
Oh no.
That's
no.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well,
So I get what you're saying. If you auto-tune a little bit to where you're trying to not let people know that it's auto-tuned, that's a cover-up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
auto-tuning is just like a new chapter in what's called vocoding. The vocoder.
Right.
That's what
yeah,
it
it's
is.
like the vocoder.
That's
yeah.
what it is. And auto-tuning, like, for instance, like Trent Reznor did a new band that wasn't Nine Inch Nails, and his wife sang for it. It was called How to Destroy Angels. There is no blatant use of the auto-tune as a vocoder on it, but there's auto-tune all over it because she can't sing. And
that's
so
awful.
he uses it to correct pitch.
And
That's
Trent's
what
like,
he uses
honey, you
it.
sound wonderful.
Exactly.
It's just,
Give me 4 hours in the studio and you'll sound great again. So that. But using it just as a vocoder, I think is fine. But it's just it's like everything. It's just been overused, and it's a gimmick. And I like gimmicks, but when everybody gets to use the gimmick, it's no good. And it's really just like you can't throw it all out of there because Peter Frampton. Do you feel like I would do? That's not auto-tune, but that's a vocoder. It's a talk box. So
and that's using a context where it's brilliant. I mean, that's a
I
classic.
will never ever condemn the use of any tool. I won't. I will only condemn the people using it. You know what I mean?
Right, or the way in which they use it.
Exactly.
There's a right time and place, a good context for every tool.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, and there's been some good songs that had the auto-tune as a focus, like Snoop Dogg's "Sexual Eruption."
I didn't know that song. I want to hear it now. Based on that face, I want to hear it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, it came on the radio. They changed it to "Sensual Seduction."
Yeah.
Which is
so
Snoop.
how do I go? Sensual seduction. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my time.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was pretty bad. I remember that song.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And they've been using it, like, everybody seems to forget, they've been using similar effects for a long time, like California Love had it.
Oh, that's right, it did. Yeah,
I mean, that's not auto-tune per se, that's a vocoder, but it's so similar. The auto-tune, I guess, is just where you tell the computer what key and what scale it is, and then it won't let you
deviate from that?
Yeah, well, it either sharpen or flatten every note that is sharp or flat incorrectly.
Right, in order to...
Yeah, it removes pitchiness, but, I don't know. I'd prefer everybody just learn how to sing.
Well,
you know,
yes,
like that,
yes.
And
well, and that's where you see the most use of auto-tune is in the pop industry, where unfortunately a lot of people can't sing.
Yeah.
There's images crafted, and the persona, and the songs are written by someone, and they're pushed out really, really fast, and that person a lot of times can't sing. So they're like, oh, well, let's use auto-tune because it sounds cool, and then you're on pitch.
When Allan and I went to a Studio West here in San Diego, which is a professional studio.
Good studio.
The engineer told us that he had been engineering jazz bands for the last couple of months, and he was having a great time because he didn't have to work very hard. Because jazz musicians, all he had to do was set up his microphones, and they would just record a performance. But he said, when I work with a pop star, I'm the one doing the work.
Yep.
She's not. She could go in there and fart into the microphone. I'd make it sound like Britney Spears in a couple hours, you know, like, because it's all, like, so much of music is all post-production now, not performance. And performance I think, is better.
Real musicianship has kind of gone out the window in a lot of cases.
And Steve Albini, a producer, a really good one, who produced Nirvana, he said that nowadays, digital software, autotune, those things, they produce music that's an abstraction of music. It's the equivalent of writing perfect notes on a music staff. What it isn't is a performance. A performance is a specific rendition of an abstract idea. So it's taking an abstract idea and putting it and actually doing it.
Right.
And that's harder, and it's always better. Yeah. I've never heard an instance in which it wasn't.
No, it's always more interesting and more genuine and emotional when you do it that way. Absolutely.
So performance is much better.
It is. Well, and it makes you think of like some of the stuff that's come out online where they take the actual performance versus what the audience heard, and they like release the mic feed, and you're like, oh my god, that is terrible. Who was it? Britney Spears they did that with?
Yeah, that's the one that I heard. Yeah, where whatever the audience was hearing was not what the sound engineer was hearing from her microphone during the performance, because apparently she can't dance and sing at the same time. It's very hard, very difficult, and it was crap. Oh my gosh, it was bad.
Well, and there's been some recordings that they've done that with as well, right? Wasn't T-Pain one of them? They released... Because T-Pain is basically just all auto-tune. Didn't they release his actual vocal track? And they were like, oh my god, this is terrible.
Yep. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all there is to say about that. That's just all kinds of bad.
Yep. That's it.
Oh my god.
Well, it's like so many of the... I mean, we were recently talking about like the national anthem when it's sung, and why it's apparently a lot of times it's pre-recorded, and what are the merits to that, and why do they do that? And I mean, I think one of you said that it was probably...
It was Roseanne Barr, because she did that foul-mouthed rendition. A lot of places or events want it pre-recorded now, so no one has the opportunity to do that.
It's called the Roseanne clause of the contract.
It's exactly. It's the Roseanne. Yeah, you have to sign the Roseanne clause.
Yeah.
But I like what Beyonce did, like her or not, when they did that press conference about her having pre-recorded the one she did at Obama's inauguration. Yeah. She came out, and before taking or answering any questions, just sang it a cappella. I was like, okay, there you go. Now,
question?
Anyone?
And that's the best
possible answer you could have to that criticism, boom, there you go.
Well, and in that case, it wasn't because she lacked the talent that it was pre-recorded. It was security reasons and the whole Roseanne Clause thing.
Yeah, it's the presidential inauguration. They're not taking any risks of anything. They want this to be perfectly presentable. So, of course, they're going to pre-record that.
Yeah. Well, and then you have instances, too, where people, like at football games, whatever, the Christina Aguilera bit, where she forgets the words of our national anthem.
Yeah, whoops, that looks great, doesn't it?
I mean, so bully for her that she didn't pre-record it, but maybe she should next time.
Yeah.
Because obviously, that's a little difficult.
Yeah, and if you pre-record it, you still did sing it. I mean, as long as assuming you don't auto-tune it.
Yeah,
to bring it all back.
I bet they would.
Yeah, I bet they
would.
Probably would.
Yeah.
And there you go.
There you go.
So
our
thank
thoughts
you for
on
watching.
autotune.
Yeah. This has been Shortglass Media, and you've been watching Hourglass.
And you are Allan Heath.
Yes, sir. Who are you?
Spencer Vogel. She is... It's coming right.
Hourglass is not dude.
Yes, it's Carrie Heath.
Boom. Mic drop.
Boom. Any questions?